ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Vent Show. Feeling funky today. Hopefully not smelling funky. I hope you're not smelling funky. Feeling funky. Feeling funky. Feeling funky today. Hope you're having a great day. If you're not, you came to the right fucking place. Yeah, this is kind of funky. Yeah. All right. So welcome again to the Vent Show. I'm your host, Andy Sharp. The one and only. It's a good thing to some people. We're going to talk about some things today. We're going to get your mind rocking and rolling and moving in directions, talking about some of these issues. Again, this show is for you. This is just fun for me. Hope you make Vent Show a part of your support system, part of your entertainment life. Visit us at ventshow.net. That's ventshow.net for all things Vent Show related. Yeah, so we're going to get into some topics today here. I think we're going to talk about these teachers. We got to talk about these teachers. Got to let them know that we hear them out there. Sounds like there's venting going on. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. Yep, we're going to talk about teachers. We're going to talk about the situation of teachers. We're going to talk about the situation of schools. It's kind of in line with the series that we've been doing with kids and parenting and discipline and punishment and these kind of things. So, yeah, we gotta let the teachers know out there, whether it's one, maybe it's just the voice of one or two that's currently in the media, but we know that there are a lot of teachers out there and we hear you. So we're going to get into the subject of teachers. We're also going to leave with positive. We're going to always end on that positive note, but we're going to play a game, I think, in between. You're going to enjoy it. We're going to play a tune, but we're going to step into our next topic here in a minute, and we are going to talk about teachers. Now, if you go to the Vent Show Facebook page, that's Vent Show. Just search Vent Show on Facebook. You'll get to our Facebook page. I posted a poll question. The poll question is pretty straightforward. It says, do you feel the pay for teachers is acceptable given their responsibilities and duties? And, I might even add risks in there too. So go to the Facebook page, Vent Show, where we have latest updates, and I also share a lot of different social media posts from other contenters, other contributors and other social media entertainers. That's a great resource. Again, you can go to ventshow.net. I also link there right on the website, so you can see all that there. But check it out. I'd like to get your opinion, your vote. The voting's open for another 5 days, I believe, on that. So it's simply yes or no. Do you think teachers are fairly compensated? Yes. Do you not think they're compensated fairly? No. I think we'll start with a simple question and start getting into the issue of what's going on here, and listen to some of these teachers. We're going to read these rants. It's not just one teacher. There's several of them out there, and we got that information. And when we come back, we are going to read it. This is Andy Sharp, and you're listening to Vent Show. All right, so let's get into this here. Let's start talking about this topic here. Again, we're talking about teachers. We're going to talk first about the rant or the vent, because this is Vent Show, and see, this is very relevant, right? So people think, oh, Vent Show, what is it? Look, it can be a professional teacher. You could be a kid in high school. What everybody has vents, and it's a healthy way, to a certain degree, to deal with it and get it out. So let's talk about this teacher here. Again, we're talking about the teacher. She took to Facebook to share her frustrations about the teaching industry. Her name is Julie Marburger. She's 45, and she plans to quit teaching at the end of the year, and she's in Texas. Apparently the school is called Cedar Creek Intermediate School. She's a mother of 8. So she's probably made a few good decisions and learned from a few of her mistakes, right? So basically she shared her experiences accusing students and parents of rude behaviors. She also revealed that she receives low pay and has to provide classroom budget for herself. So that's the first problem. That's the first part of this here. So we're going to talk about her event. We're going to read that. I guess, which at this point has reached over about 500,000 shares on Facebook. about 400,000 likes. You know, I guess that means there's a message there that resonates with people, right? Something that they can understand. And I'm sure all these people weren't parents, but you know what? I believe a few of them probably were parents that are so frustrated and at their wits' end or whatnot to really figure out what is the answer to some of these issues. So she teached about between 11 and 12. Oh, excuse me. It says she's originally from Utah, and she teaches students between 11 and 12 years old. She said she's been pushed to the brink of quitting that particular day that she vented about because of a disrespectful parent who shouted at her in her classroom for holding her son accountable. Funny, we just talked about that. We talked about that in one of the earlier episodes about parents not holding their kids accountable. We're talking about the difference between discipline and punishment. I mean, here's a complete manifestation, and this isn't a manifestation that happened in the week or so that I did a podcast on the subject, right? I mean, who the fuck cares about that, right? I mean, I do. I hope you do. But the fucking point is, this lady's been doing this for a long time. This is her career. This is her passion. You know, this started when she was in high school and decided she wanted to go to college to be a teacher and to work with kids. She has 8 kids, by the way, again. So she probably knows a few things about kids. And for those people that have no kids or maybe one child, you know, this might be a person that you could get some good advice and learn something from, right? So in the post, she wrote that she left work early at the incident because the parent left her emotionally unstable and she couldn't go on. Well, she's a professional. This is an emotionally charged environment, especially when dealing with hormonal teenagers and, you know, tweens and all, whatever the term is for this stuff, you know, and these kids that had come with angst and their own problems. And we talked about that again before. We don't know what situations these kids have at home. And these teachers, like we talked about, all of us as mentors and people that are around children. And again, a child is anyone under the age of 18 in the eyes of the law. And it could be longer than that. So just so we know who we're talking about here, but we have a responsibility to maintain a certain decorum around these children and conduct ourselves as responsible citizens and adults and try to encourage and motivate them through our actions and our words and our deeds, right? So, I mean, I shared this particular story. This particular story here is from the Daily Mail. You know, I guess it is a quote, reputable news site, you know, but take a look at it. I got to post it on the Facebook page. But she got some pictures on here of how the kids just trash the classroom and just, you know, lack of general respect. And so eventually one person has to say, like, you know, if if that's the environment your child is accustomed to and that's what they're doing in public and at places they visit, you know, first of all, where's the real problem? Is the problem at home? And then for those children and those kids that don't have that environment at home and they see that, does that maybe give them pause? Like, why? Or, hey, maybe that's an acceptable standard to some adults. Either way, it's not good, right? So I'm going to read the post in its entirety. If you haven't heard it, I'll give a little commentary as we go. I'm going to have to take some breaks. It's a pretty long one here. There's a few others we'll go through, but again, this post she has it on here was posted March 28 at 7:06 p.m. She said, I left work early today after an incident with a parent that left me unable emotionally to continue for the day. I have already made the decision to leave teaching at the end of the year, and today, I don't know if I will make it even that long. Parents have become far too disrespectful, and their children are even worse. Administration always seems to err on the side of keeping the parents happy, which leaves me with no way to do the job I was hired to do. Teach kids. I'm including photos that I took in my classroom over the past 2 days. This is how my classroom regularly looks after my students spend all day there. Keep in mind that many of the items damaged or destroyed by my students are my personal possessions or I purchased myself because I have no classroom budget. No classroom budget. Okay? And if any of you guys are parents out there, and I'm sure you are, and you have kids in school, you know every year they hand out a list If they don't, it's at every Walmart for every school in your area talking about what you need to buy, and they want you to buy more. And if they have more, it's for the kids that can't afford it. And that's all fine and dandy. We all are trying to do our part, but we're talking about going beyond that. Okay? So she continues here. I have finally had enough of the disregard for personal and school property and am drawing a line in the sand on a myriad of behaviors that I am not through tolerating. Unfortunately, one parent today thought it was wrong for me to hold her son accountable for his behavior and decided to very rudely tell me so in front of her son. Okay. Clearly, it doesn't sound like the best way to handle that. Empowering her son, a developing child, into and giving them a negative example of how to interact and communicate with a professional. Okay. Report cards came out later that week, and nearly half of my students failing due to multiple 8 to 10 missing assignments. Most of these students and their parents haven't seemed to care about this over the past 3 months, though weekly reports go out. Emails have been sent and phone calls have been attempted. But now I'm probably going to spend my entire week next week fielding calls and emails from irate parents wanting to know why I failed their kid. Why I failed their kid. Not them, not their parents failing them in some way by being involved in their lives, right? Why the teacher is responsible for the child's work and their engagement when she's probably got 30 kids in that class. Okay, we're going to go on here. My administrator will demand an explanation of why I let so many fail without giving them support, even though I've done practically everything short of doing the work for them. Now, you know what? Let's talk about these administrators, these politicians perhaps, right? Because let's be honest, right? You're not going to be a superintendent of schools and sit on a school board unless you know how to kiss hands and shake babies. Oh, wait. I mean, kiss babies and shake hands, right? Okay? So these politicians now, oh, why didn't you do it? And there's an interesting video I encourage you to look up, kind of a side note, of a North Carolina, I believe it was a North Carolina teacher, actually calling out, a PhD, calling out a teacher that basically allowed him to be bullied when he was in school. Again, a side note, check it out. So again, we're talking about administration not supporting the teachers. Okay? And behavior in my class will deteriorate even more. I am expecting this because it is what has happened at the end of every other term thus far. I have never heard of a profession, where people put so much of their heart and soul into their job, taking time and resources from their home and family, and getting paid such an insultingly measly amount. Teachers are some of the most kind and giving people I have ever met, yet they get treated so disrespectfully from all sides. Most parents can't stand to spend more than a couple hours a day with their kid. But we spend 8 with yours and 140 others just like them. Is it too much to ask for a little common courtesy and civil conversation? It's well said. Well said, no doubt. Again, this is years of frustration. This is her venting. I think this is honest. This is healthy. This is discourse that needs to happen in our society now. You know, we started talking about bullying a little bit. We're going to get into that subject deeper. But this is, again, a profession of people all around this country that are entrusted with the great responsibility of not only educating our children, which America in general doesn't do a good job at, but they're willing to do it, but to help keep our children safe and look out for them and to give them the guidance and to be the mentor for them in their lives, the embodiment of a man or a woman, a professional man or woman, an adult that sometimes that the parents obviously aren't providing for them. And I think that's why we have some of these issues. We're going to take a short break. Again, we're talking about the teacher, I guess the teaching problem, the teacher pay epidemic, the teacher rant, the teacher vent. You're listening to The Vent Show. This is Andy Sharp. I'm going to go into a bit of a music break here for you, kind of let you reset. We're going to come back. We're going to go on to the second part of her particular vent. And I encourage you to stay with me. Thank you. Again, you're listening to Andy Sharp, and this is The Vent Show. Yeah, all right. Welcome back to the Vent Show. This is Andy Sharp. I'm your host. Thank you for staying with us. I'm talking about a very important subject, a trending subject right now. I think it's one of these things that's kind of been boiling, simmering, right? Stewing, and now it's starting to boil over a little bit. And I think it's a great opportunity for the Vent Show and for our listeners and for us as parents or citizens and people that care about, you know, the future of children and being a good disciplinarians and educators and and all that positive stuff we talked about, hugging kids and letting them know this is important. Okay, this is the time to let this trend and keep this trending and not let this die. Okay, this isn't going to be the sexy story that the news and the media want to keep up. They're going to want to talk about, the president or somebody else, and I'm not getting political, but this is a very important subject. Okay, this is something that we, as the people, as the citizens that care about what's happening around us, whether we have children or not, we need to keep this alive. We need to keep this conversation going. Okay. So again, we're talking about teachers, the teaching problem, right? The problems teachers face. We're talking about Julie Marbiger. Okay. Again, a teacher, who posted a event, okay, on Facebook that's really kind of taken fire and snapped all across social media. It's had over about 500,000 shares, okay, itself. We read the first part of it, and I'm going to read the second part of it, and then we're going to go into some other conversation. So again, the second part starts, and this is kind of where the heartbreaking part, but it starts off, "It's been a dream of mine for as long as I can remember to have a classroom of my own. And now my heart is broken to have become so disillusioned in these short 2 years. This is almost all I hear from the other teachers as well. And they are leaving the profession in droves. This is going to be a teacher crisis. There's going to be a teacher crisis in this country before too many more years has passed, unless the abuse of teachers stop. People absolutely have to stop coddling and enabling their children. It is a problem that's going to spread through our society like wildfire. It's not fair to society. And more importantly, it's not fair to the children to teach them this is okay. It will not serve them towards a successful and happy life. Many will say, I shouldn't be posting such things on social media, that I should promote education and be positive. But I don't care anymore. Any passion for this work I once had has been wrung completely out of me. Maybe I can be the voice of reason. This has to stop." Now, wow. Those are impassioned words from an educated person. She has had the passion for this wrung out of her. This is a societal problem. I think it manifests itself, and we can see it not only in just, what, and I think she characterized it well. And I want to go back to the point she made. What does she call it? A crisis, a teacher crisis. This is a crisis. These teachers quit, and we don't have the, you talk about these teachers and stuff that have inappropriate relations, stuff like, look at these teachers. They're kids themselves most of the times, right? So is that the kind of person we want to put in front of our kids to inspire them and motivate them, and as an example of what you can accomplish? Or instead, are these kids looking at these teachers like, you're a fucking idiot for being here, and I'm going to shit all over you every day because I get shit on every day? Now, I know that's a real possibility and a real feelings probably for some people. But like she said, this has to stop. This is going to be a crisis before we know it. And if we don't get our heads around this issue and really make some serious changes and demand change from our lawmakers, from the people in our community, and especially from ourselves as parents and influencers of these kids, and the way that they treat people and interact, and what we are going to accept as mentors, as adults in these kids' lives, what we're going to accept and allow and discipline. So there's an update. She posted an update, and I want her to be heard completely. Again, she makes some brilliant points. She's certainly deserved all of our attention, as many teachers deserve our attention to be heard. Anybody at the Vent Show will be heard. Everybody will be heard. She followed it up. She says, update, thank you everyone for your words of support. I'm feeling a little shell-shocked over the attention I've gotten, to say the least. This is something I had no way of anticipating and have taken a few days to come to terms with. I never intended to be a spokesperson for anything. I'm not the most qualified to do so. And I'm certainly not the best teacher out there, by far. But obviously my words, spoken in desperation that day, have struck a chord with many people. My Facebook Messenger inbox has been inundated with comments from teachers and others worldwide in agreement and support of my post. If I could have that moment back, I might have said some things differently. For one, I would have pointed out that I have many amazing, hardworking, respectful students who show up every day and give their best, and also many supportive, loving parents. For them, I am thankful and hope I haven't offended. But my frustrations was also in their behalf, because the actions of some are hindering their educational experience. I believe this post resounded with so many because it speaks to three main issues we must address as a society. First, the education system as we know it needs reform. It is broken and inadequate for our children. Second, we absolutely have to hold our children to a higher standard of accountability in all areas. Inflating their success doesn't raise self-esteem. If it did, we wouldn't have the highest teen suicide rates in history right now. Third, we, as a society, have to get back to treating one another with manners and respect. We are only going downhill with hatred and name-calling. No one wins when kindness dies. I am a woman of faith and have been quite reflective this week on the good that I can bring to this world because of this experience. I've decided to, as soon as feasible, start blogging my feelings to all of the above and hope many of you will join me in the discussion. If we all work together, we can make the changes we need for our collective success. I mean, that I couldn't have said it better myself. Again, this is from the heart. Yeah, this is a woman that's one of many, as she said, has resonated and resounded with so many people around the country that feel like I can't say these things because they'll say I'm a racist, right? They'll say because I work in an inner city and I'm a white teacher, I might be this way, or I work in a white city and I'm a black teacher, I might feel this way. No, these are real feelings that real people have, and that's what the Vent Show is about. Now, what are we going to do about it? What are each and every one of us going to do about it? So I challenge you to listen to the words of this teacher, of this person. Feel them. Let them be heard. Have a conversation with your child. Let them know what is unacceptable. You need, again, be that example for them. You need to surround them with people that are the example. And she makes an even better point, that there are good kids out there. Okay? We want to leave on positives. The positive is that there are good kids out there. There are hardworking kids out there. They're doing their schoolwork. They're probably even helping other kids out. And they're trying to fit in to this confusing situation that they're even in as young people. There are good parents out there. There are people fighting the fight. There are people that are investing the time that they need to be, but we need to do better. That's my challenge to you. You're listening to The Vent Show. I'm Andy Sharp. Oh, yeah, all right. All right, a little bluesy. Yeah, a little blues infusion for you. Thank you again for listening to Vent Show. I know there's a million things you can be doing in this life. You're doing this right now, and we thank you. I'm Andy Sharp. We've been talking about a very serious subject. I think this is a subject that we need to keep going in our society. If we're concerned about the violence that's happening in our schools and with our children, this is part of getting to that answer, to that solution, okay? It starts with the kids. It starts with the people at home, the influencers. It starts with the teachers, and making sure that the people that are entrusted with their safety and education are supported. Now, that sometimes means not taking your child's side in some cases, as we've learned. I know we've talked about, but, we need to think about things as a collective and make sure that we understand that there could be 20 or 30 other kids in that classroom, and what we do and the examples we set every day and every moment in front of these children aren't so important. So I'm going to wrap it up here a little bit on this. I really feel like we're going to come back to this. This is going to be another show topic. Again, I posted another great link. I posted the link to the rants that I read, and what we talked about, so you can look at that on the Facebook page or the website. Just go to ventshow.net, ventshow.net, or if you want, ventshow.online, because I paid for that too. I don't know. I figured why not. Ventshow.net, ventshow.online. But look, just to give you some scope and some scale, if you're a teacher, you're starting, if you topped out in the country of Luxembourg, now I understand Luxembourg isn't, around the corner. Their teachers there make $137,000 a year topped out. Okay? In Japan, they're at $62,000. So what I'm saying is I want to bring awareness to this issue. I want to bring awareness to what we need to do to support our teachers, encourage them, motivate them, make sure they're comfortable in what they need to do in their personal lives. There's no reason teachers should be working 2 or 3 other jobs. There's no reason some teachers need to be driving Uber until 2 a.m. and then going to bed or going home to their family and then getting up and being in the classroom or at the school at 6 or 7 a.m. There's no reason that should be happening. And that's my vent. That's my rant. We're going to talk about this some more. I want to, again, I always want to end on the positive. I love every one of you. I appreciate you. I hope whatever you're going through in life, you understand that it's temporary. Whether things are good or not so good in our life, all things, unfortunately, are temporary. So embrace the positive. I dropped a friend off at the airport today, and she's going to Sweden. She's going to go see her friends and family there. She's really nervous. She's not really comfortable flying. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy every moment. These are the moments in your life that you're going to have. See them as learning moments to make you stronger. Whatever negativity you're going through is only going to be temporary, because we all know that even if it was positive, right, it's going to be temporary. I also want to share another point, another personal note. My best friend, one of the greatest people I've ever met, he and his wife were blessed with 2 beautiful twin daughters yesterday. and I was honored enough to be allowed in to see them in just after the few hours of their birth. And if anybody has done that and been a part of that, I mean, it's an amazing honor, and that speaks to the duality of life. Again, seek the positive in your life. Seek positive opportunities. Seek engagement with people that are positive around you and that support your light and lift up your light, and limit and exclude those that detract and take away from your light. Okay? We need each other, and we need to support each other and show each other the love and respect, not only for ourselves and our society, but for the sake of the children in the future to come. Again, thank you so much. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being in this part of the universe and spending your time. This is The Vent Show. I'm Andy Sharp, and have a great night.